My name is Allison Giacalone, and I will be introducing the SIOP model of sheltered instruction. Starting with page 1, lesson preparation. The first 6 indicators are 1 and 2, content and language, 3, content concepts, 4, supplemental materials, 5, adaptation of content, and 6, meaningful activities. So a way to start your lesson is always to start with your objective. This gets the students prepared to get ready with what they're going to learn. Objectives should be used by teachers in his or her lessons. Objectives must support and state the standard and the TEAC, and it must align with the product. Some other things that you can do: higher order content objective verb. Each verb needs to be explained, modeled, and frequently reviewed with students. Higher order language verb, objective verb. Each verb needs to be explained, modeled, and frequently reviewed with students as well. Here are the verbs. One that I mostly like is the draw conclusion. I like this because it helps students use their higher order thinking, and it helps them process the information that they had just learned. There's pictures and visuals, demonstrations, hands-on activities that are very important, especially for ELL learners. Being hands-on really helps them adapt to what they are learning and really kind of soak in what the lesson is. There's multimedia. Students really like the technology, and related literature. As I said before, objectives are aligned to state or district standards. The objectives are observable and measurable. The objectives are written and will be stated simply in language students can understand. This is also very important for ESL students because they don't understand some of the language verbs that in English that we use, so we must make sure that they are understanding what the objective really means and what they're really doing. On to page 2, building background knowledge. 7, 8, and 9 are concepts explicitly linked. Number 8, links explicitly made. And number 9, key vocabulary emphasized. So this bridge, I had a few printing issues right here, so I had to draw in, but this bridge is students' background, prior knowledge, make critical connections using graphic organizers, class notes, PowerPoint slides. It's very important, especially with ESL students, to make connections to their everyday life, especially with things that are really new to them that they don't understand. It's important to make a connection to their real life. So some academic vocabulary: active, personalize, immersed, build on. These are important to be active in developing and understanding words and ways to learn them. Like I had just said above, it's important that we are making those ESL students understand the correct vocabulary to use when talking about the objective. Building vocabulary background, word clouds, partner pretest, word sorts, insert method, 4 corners, and a definition map. These are also very helpful for ESL students. Page 3. Comprehensible input. 10, 11, and 12. Speech, clear explanation, a variety of techniques. Remember to speak slower for beginner ELLs. Enunciate your words, simplify your sentences, avoid idioms, model, repeat, and paraphrase. These bubbles here, it helps when she comes to the desk and shows me. I personally relate to this page on a level that I didn't think that I would. I'm placed in a ELL class right now, and I'm in the dual language program, and it's been great. I have witnessed all of these. She doesn't explain it good. I don't understand the words she's saying. Like I said, it helps when she comes to show me at the desk. She talks too fast. I don't understand the directions. These are really important because, like I have said repeatedly, ELLs don't understand the vocabulary as well as students who have English as their first language. So it's important to speak slowly, make sure you repeat everything, especially when you're introducing new vocabulary from the lesson. Also to them, it's completely new. They've never even heard the word before. So it's important to repeat and make sure you're speaking slowly, going to their desk when it's in the gradual release and they're in their independent work and that you do. So page 4, strategies are learning strategies. Number 13, number 14 is scaffolding techniques, a variety of questions or tasks that promote higher order thinking is number 14. The ESL strategy packet, there is the verbal scaffolding techniques, paraphrase, think alouds, reinforce, pronunciate, slow speech, as I had repeated before, and repeat. Think alouds, I really like this. I like this because it helps the students use their brains and they can come up with the things that they're thinking in their head. Page 5, interactions, and it is 16 interactions, 17 group configurations, 18 sufficient time, wait time for student responses, and 19 ample opportunities for students to clarify key concepts in L1 as needed with aid, peer, or L1 text. So, interrupt, wait time, give additional time, and be patient. I actually had an experience today. I was teaching the sensory details, and we were going over the 5 senses. And I have an ELL. Every single student in my class is ELL, except 2, actually. I had an experience today with the 5 senses. There's one student who he learns and he wants to learn, and you can tell, but he never raises his hand. Today he raised his hand and he knew what he wanted to say, but he couldn't say it, and students started raising their hand because they wanted to answer the question that I had asked, and I made sure to give him wait time so that he didn't get nervous, and I want him to keep answering and want him to build up that confidence. He finally answered, and it didn't really make sense, but I still praised him because I want him to feel confident with answering questions and putting himself out there, even though he doesn't really understand fully. Practice application 20, 21, 22, hands-on materials or hands-on manipulatives, apply content and language knowledge, and 22 is language skills. Hands-on games, always, they love to be hands-on. Electronic games, they relate to that because this generation is very much into technology. Lesson delivery 23, 24, 25, content objectives, language objectives, and students engaged. Always make sure that the objective is measurable and observable. Pace lesson. Pace the lesson. I like this because it's either, if you're going too fast, slow down. If you're going too slow, maybe speed it up a little bit because you can tell that they're understanding. Academic learning, tested material, engaged time, active participation. Very important to make sure that every student is participating. Usually what I do if I'm teaching a whole lesson and I see that some students are kind of dozing off, I will call on them and I'll say, well, what do you think, Brittany? and you know, they'll chime back in, and once I do that, I can tell that I got their attention back, and they're ready. Review and assessment. 27, review of key. 28, review of key vocabulary. 28, review of key content. 29, regular feedback provided to students on their output language content work. Like I had mentioned before, feedback is very important, and it's really easy to just say, good job, great. But you really need to amp it up and say, oh, I really like how you dotted your I. I really like how you curled your A. Anything gives them that motivation to want to keep going and keep trying. Informal assessments. Again, I had some printer problems down here. Informal assessments, observations, anecdotal reports, conversations, quick writes, brainstorming, games, role play, retelling, handheld devices, journals, non-print review, number wheels, response wheels, sticky notes, rubrics. I really like using sticky notes for their exit tickets. They love to get up out of their seats and stick it on the door before they go to a restroom break or before they go to lunch. They really enjoy that. So I really like to use sticky notes for little exit tickets just to see how they developed in that lesson. Creative formal assessments, create posters, anchor charts. They enjoy anchor charts. We do them together as a class. Create a board game. They really like to use board games. Performing skits. They haven't performed a skit yet, but I think it would be really enjoyable to see them do that. All right. And multiple meanings. Use analogy, synonyms and antonyms. Use wrap-up techniques, multiple exposure, and words in different contexts. And that is the end of my SIOP folder.